Welcome to the Marketing Mentor Podcast with Ilise Benun, founder of marketing-mentor.com and author of 7 books, including The Creative Professional's Guide to Money. Since 2008, Ilise has been interviewing her clients and other successful professional creatives who are doing what it takes to stop the feast or famine syndrome, get better clients, and command the fees they deserve, and sharing the nuts and bolts of what they've learned so you can do it too. You can find more at marketing-mentor.com. And now, here's Ilise Benun.
Hello, everyone. This is Ilise Benun of marketing-mentor.com. And I am here. This is a very special podcast. It's called the Pick a Niche podcast because we are going to interview, that's Tomas and I. He will introduce himself shortly. We're going to interview a very special guest from down under Australia. So, Tomas,
yes, that's
please
me.
say hello and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Thomas, and I'm living in Buenos Aires, but I'm Swedish, which you probably can hear from my accent. I have a site which is called frontminddesign.com, where I share marketing, inspiration, examples, and advice for awesome freelance creatives and small creative agencies. And on that site, I run an interview series with freelance creatives who already has picked their niche. And it happens to be that one of those freelancers are Scarlett Rogers, who is with us today. And Scarlett, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. Tell us a little about us. Tell us a little about you, Scarlett.
Okay. Yes, as you know, my name is Scarlett Rogers. I run a book design agency here in Melbourne, Australia, and I work with both traditionally published and self-published authors. Internationally, the majority of my clients are based in the US, but I also work with authors all over the world, Australia, the UK, everywhere. So I've been working in my industry for probably about 4 years now, and yeah, I love what I do. It's basically just book design work for both interior and exterior books, as well as we do websites and marketing materials, but it's basically just overall book design.
Beautiful. And Scarlett, the whole point of this podcast, which is to support a new product in the Marketing Mentor online store, which is called the Pick a Niche Kit, is all, I came up with the idea because I find that people really resist the idea of focusing and choosing a niche to focus on, even though I have example after example of how much more successful and simple one's business can become once you've chosen a place or a couple places to focus. So that's what we want to talk about with you. And you've already told us what your niche is and what you do and who you do it for. But maybe you could describe your ideal client.
Yeah, my ideal client is someone who knows what they want. So, I mean, so an author who's already exposed themselves to the self-publishing industry, someone who may already know a little bit about what to expect. And, you're talking about defining a niche, and that is so that you have your audience clearly defined, so that you know exactly who you're targeting and why. And that is the same for authors. So they don't need to know about their cover or what they actually design. They need to know about their own niche, and that would be my ideal client.
Interesting. So you have a niche where you're looking for people who know what their niche is.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. When you're writing a book, a lot of authors don't go into writing a book thinking, well, this is my audience, I'm going to write for them. It isn't like running a business. It's a very personal experience. But once you get to the end and you realize that, okay, I am going to go ahead and publish this, you need to become that business. And that's where knowing your niche or your genre and audience come in. So the clearer they are on who they're targeting, the easier it is for me to design for them.
But usually they are not clear which their audience is from the beginning. Is that what you say?
That's right. I mean, if you're going to write a book, you normally do it from whatever inspiration hits you. It could be a personal experience. It could be something that has inspired you. You may have read other books and have developed your own plot thread, or there is a character that you just have to write about. It's a really personal, intimate experience. It's not one that we often go out with thinking, well, I'm going to write about action adventure pirates because I know that's what's selling well. And don't get me wrong, there are authors who are doing that now because they realize how successful the industry is, and they really are going ahead and publishing book after book based on what's trending and what's selling, and that's awesome. But for the majority of the audience, for the majority of authors, that's not initially why they go ahead and write a book in the first place.
Why did you yourself initially choose book covers as your niche?
Well, I came into book covers because a friend of mine had asked me if I would design her book cover, and she was so happy with what I'd done for her that she ended up sharing it with her writing community, and before I knew it, other people were asking for orders. So since then, I've consistently worked on, my business and my design skills to grow that. But before then, that was what I always wanted to do. I've been a designer since, 2005? So I've been a designer for 10 years, but it wasn't until I actually picked that niche and I got the break that I did that the work actually started coming.
Mm.
And didn't you have a narrower niche before that, or at a certain point in your process?
Yeah, I did chick lit, and I still do that. So, I mean, for my business, it's always important for me to try new things and to see what better service I can give my authors. So I did end up developing a separate business sort of under the same umbrella, but it was specific for chick lit and romance cover design. So I did that sort of exclusively for that. But I found I wasn't ready yet to run the two businesses. It came to quite a large workload, not just for the design, but running a business itself takes so much time. So doing that together was really overwhelming. But in general, I'm part of a large chick lit and romance community. So I'm working with Harlequin at the moment. So my niche is still there. It's just under the umbrella with the other genres at the moment. But if you look at my folio of work, that's more towards the chick lit romance, and like I said, the communities that I'm a part of generate that sort of word of mouth for that niche community.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you could almost say that your niche chose you. You kind of almost fell into it.
I guess. I mean, book covers, I always wanted to do book covers my whole life. I've been writing since I was 8 years old. I've written a fair amount of novels myself. I've published 2 books. One was a novel, one was non-fiction. But book covers was my dream job. And I thought it was going to take me much longer to get into that. And then the self-publishing boom happened a couple of years before I started. So, you're probably looking at about 2009 or 2008 that it really started to gain traction and get a respectable response. So it actually opened up avenues for designers who wanted to do that and didn't have to work with traditional publishings to do that.
Yeah, and it's still growing, this niche.
Massively. Yeah,
Massive.
I mean, when you think of self-publishing, it's always taking new tracks and new pathways. But from where it was, self-publishers really want to be recognised as being respected and that their work is worth purchasing. But not only that, a lot of traditional publishers are now going what's called hybrid, which means that they're traditionally published, but they're getting their rights back for old works, or they're publishing new works in a self-publishing frame because they're recognizing that there's no reason they shouldn't. They're getting the higher royalties. They've already got the work set out for them. They've got the readership. So that sort of reflection of the integrity of self-publishing is always growing. It's just getting bigger.
Out of curiosity, when independent author comes to you, are they typically is it their first book when they come to you typically, or?
Normally, yes, but sometimes no. I mean, normally yes, because once an author finds the designer that's right for them, they want to stick with them. And that's just from a publishing team point of view. So once you've got someone reliable who understands your work, who understands who you are and how you work, you want to keep them on board. So a lot of my existing clientele comes back to me for repeat work. So a lot of the new inquiries are people just looking to break in. But unfortunately, there always are the authors who get in touch with me who've had negative experiences with other designers and stuff and are looking to sort of reestablish that trust in someone new.
Okay. So what are the things that they had that has occurred to them before that was problems that they tried to solve by contacting you?
Well, the clients, they work through the internet, so their need for face-to-face is really minimal. That means that they're looking for someone that they can really trust over long distance, and a lot of people can get burned in my community, unfortunately. Both authors and service providers, like designers and editors and marketers and PR assistants and all of that. They may hire someone who simply disappears without a word because the service providers are grown from hobbyists. They're people who take the plunge and want to put their skills to use, only to realise that actually running a business is really hard work, and if you don't put your seatbelt on and have your hands on the wheel, it's going to overwhelm you. You've got to keep directing it. So, one of the major pains of the authors I work with is that they are trying to establish that trust, that they're looking for someone that they can work with on a long-term basis and that will be there when they have questions and concerns and aren't going to disappear. They want to know that when they have questions or if they see the design and they're not sure, that they have that opportunity to talk up, and that's okay. That's a safe space for them.
One thing I find very interesting, you know your prospects and clients obviously very, very well. And knowing them that well also makes for good marketing because you can use what you know and the kind of touch points or the pain points even and address them in your own marketing. So I'm curious, I'd like to talk a little bit about how you find your clients or how they find you and what your best marketing tools are, especially if, as you said earlier, most of them are in the U.S. How do they find you? What actively do you do to pursue them?
Well, without question, the first one would be word of mouth, but not in the way you think. I don't actually do a lot of external marketing. I do a lot of internal marketing, but my top priority is constantly working to improve the experience of the authors that I work with, because that generates the biggest rewards. So, the biggest marketing success for me is to give freely without expectation of getting back. That knowing that when an author gets in touch with me, I will do everything I can to guide them. I will do what I can to give them an experience that they can take away with them. When authors get in touch with me, they're actually looking for an experience. They're not just looking to buy a product. You go to the supermarket to buy milk. You know what you're going to expect. Yeah. But when you get in touch with someone who is working in such a creative field and you're unsure about what's going to happen, if we can close the project and they leave with a book cover and a pulsing sense of, inner belief of knowing that they've made the right decision to publish, that they go on to write more and have greater success, that's the best marketing that you will ever have, because they will take that away with them for the rest of their lives, and they will tell everyone. So without question, it is the service, it's the customer service that you give. It's not, just marketing to people who haven't ever contacted you. It's dealing with the relationships that you have with the people who are already existing in your community. So that's the top one. But aside from that, it really is about knowing where your audience is and how they collaborate, where they talk, where they buy. So self-publishing communities online are massive. There are a couple of forums, there are a couple of Facebook groups that I'm a part of, and that's where I offer advice, and I may help out an author who is, trying to design their own cover, and I can try and restructure that for them, or, just leaving little bits of feedback or comments or support or encouragement. I think that gains a lot of traction rather than just pimping yourself and trying to sell yourself. It's not about that anymore. That doesn't help, one person. And overall, it doesn't help the community. I think that every business owner has a responsibility to make their industry better, even if it is just one person at a time. If I can instill that sense of confidence in 3 authors who then go on to produce amazing books because their cover tells them that they're worth that, and that they putting that work in over the months or the years is worth it, and then that alone helps to transform the community, then that's everything that you could ask for.
Are there more like you out there transforming the community?
More like me as in designers or service providers, or just in general?
Designers. And I'm wondering, because obviously you're really active in the author community, and is this what differentiates you from the rest of the book cover designers?
Yes and no. You will find a lot of designers on a couple of forums and things like that, and they're offering great advice, and that's really important. I think the reason authors choose me over other designers is because I care for their experience as if it was my own. I don't assume how they know how the process works, so I give them all the information. I work with them from the very beginning brief until the book is published, until they press that publish button. I'm certainly there for them when they need me, and if they have any questions or any problems, they can contact me anytime. But the bigger designers, I have noticed, aren't out there so much. I don't know if they're a part of other communities that I'm not, and it very well could be the case, but the ones that I'm aware of, it is more the smaller designers, the soloists, and, the ones that really want to reach out and help guide other authors who are doing it themselves and, need advice on a font type or placement of an image or something like that. So, but difference, I think, is actually how I respond to the actual relationship with my clients, because I put that above my design process. That's the most important thing out of everything that I do.
Scarlett, we have time for one more question. But before that, I want to just point out that you keep talking about the community, and I can see that you are entrenched in the community, which I think is very important, and that it almost seems like it makes marketing, I wouldn't say unnecessary, but not quite as arduous, because once you have chosen a niche and identified the community and then started participating in the community, that is the marketing. And those,
that's right.
And those who haven't chosen a niche or 2 or 3, I like to say, because people really resist a really narrow focus, but you don't know where the community is if you haven't chosen where to focus.
Yes, that's right. I mean, even if the authors that come to me and ask me, okay, well, look, I want my book to be read by men and women between the ages of 14 and 55 who are in the UK, the US, and Australia. It's like, you're not going to get that. You don't know who's going to pick your book up. And having a cover like that, you have to... let me try and explain it this way. When you go into a bookstore and you are deciding, all right, you're about to hop on a plane, so you've got to pick something really quick. The first thing you go to is the genre section that you know best. And then you look for books that look like all the other books that you've ever read, because you know that that's what you like. And that's why niching works. It's exactly like with your business. So if a person comes to you, if they need a plumber and you do specific plumbing on specific pipes for specific houses, they know that you're going to deliver on what you do, because no one else does it like you do. That's your thing, and you're going to do it really well, so they can trust you. It's an immediate sense of trust. And so, when it comes to marketing, you don't need to do any of that, because essentially you know your audience and you know how to reach them. So that in itself is the marketing. Building on that, being where your audience is at the right time is a part of that marketing.
Tomas, you want to ask the last question?
I was thinking of another last question, actually. But
whatever you want, fine.
Let me check what the last question is supposed to be.
Any last question?
The final, is okay. I will keep to the script here. Scarlett,
you don't have to. You don't have to.
What advice? What advice would you give a fellow freelance creative who specifically wants to break into the book cover niche?
There'd be two things. So, everything that I've been talking about today and emphasizing is the clients of your product. It doesn't matter what you sell, improve your service to them and they will come back to you. And this is for anything, any business. If you get this down as a creative, if you understand that your clients aren't actually paying you for your product, but they're paying you for an experience, then you will reap massive rewards for that, and it's massive rewards, just not even financially, but holistically, going to bed every day thinking I've done a really good job in helping people be the best they can be. So your clients, focus on making the service as best you can. But secondly, from a design point of view, learn typography. A lot of designers try to crack into the book industry, and the one difference that sets the best away from the rest is typography skills. There's absolutely no standard. So typography can turn an average cover into a bestseller. If I've seen some absolutely beautiful covers with amazing illustrations that have been done by digital artists that have obviously taken hours and hours of work only to have this, really cheap or free, inconsistent typeface put on there, and it immediately says amateur. It brings everything down. So focus on typography and that will put you ahead of the game.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Scarlett. Tell people where they can find you online.
Online, I am at scarlettruges.com, RUGERS, or I'm on Facebook under the same name. I am on Twitter under The Book Designer. I'm on LinkedIn. Just type my name in on Google. I'm like the top 3 pages. You can't miss me.
Yes, she is. That's why. That's how I found you, Scarlett.
Good.
And it was actually the Chicklit.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, good. And Tomas, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, they can find me at frontmydesign.com.
Spell it.
FLAUNTMIDESIGN.com.
Okay.
Flaunt
MY.
My Design.
FlauntMyDesign.com. Beautiful. And Tomas has contributed a 40-plus page ebook, which is a compilation of interviews. It's called To Specialize or Not to Specialize, as part of the Pick a Niche Kit. And you can find the Pick a Niche Kit in the online store at marketing-mentor.com. And it will take you through the process of choosing not necessarily just one, but 3 niches that you can explore. So you have no excuse not to be successful in your business. So once again, this is Ilise Benun, and I want to thank Scarlett and Tomas for joining me. And
thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for listening. Now go try out what you've learned. If you like what you hear, you can go to marketing-mentor.com and sign up for Ilise's quick tips from Marketing Mentor and her free 30-minute mentoring session to get your burning questions answered. Check out what's on sale in the Marketing Mentor shop, like the Pick a Niche Kit, proposal bundles for designers and copywriters, and the 30 Minutes a Day marketing plan. Ilise is also the host of the How Design Live podcast, a programming partner for How Design Live, the largest design conference, and you can learn all about that at howdesignlive.com. Until next time.